All right, everyone. That is the wrong scene already. This is a great stream out the gate. Uh, Welcome. Today's an awesome episode. Today's an awesome stream. We are starting a podcast today. We had it before. We got lazy, stopped doing it. But I think the way we plan to do it now is going to be super easy, and it'll be a great way to have fun discussions that me and my friend Dan love having with each other. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him on, and then we will slowly build into talking about Ghost of Tsushima. So give me 1 second here. And Dan, you are officially on the stream. Welcome. Turn the music off so it's not blaring anymore in people's ears. Would you like to give a background about yourself to everyone? Give me a second here. I might need to do another audio capture for you. Hang on. I love streaming. It's great. It's great. This is going to be cut out of the video. Why is it not picking him up? Oh, hang on. It's, It's the, I know what it is. It's a fucking Discord setting. Hang on. Streamer mode. No, you should be... Yeah. Hang on. I love the internet. Hey, Dalton or Roadhouse, one of my amazing moderators. Any tech tips for fixing the audio? Or I think I had this problem actually. Apple Capture 2. Alright, try talking now. No. I have it on... Yeah. No? Okay. Okay. This is 10 out of 10. Alright, try talking.
I'm still I'm testing again.
Okay. They should be able to hear you now.
Now it says yes.
There we go.
Everybody. Sorry about that.
He's quiet though.
Quiet though. What if I just start talking even louder? And just graduate to screaming by the end of it?
That might help. Hang on.
Perfect.
I had this issue earlier and Quantum figured it out for me. Helpful dude. Let me try something here.
Introduction of me. Used to run a movie theater before COVID happened. Hence all the posters. Been playing games for a long time, since Super Metroid's the first one I can remember actually playing. So
Super Metroid's a great game. You should sound better. I adjusted the settings.
Okay.
So you should
keep talking as if I'm in a public place, if I remember what that is.
Turn that down a bit. Yeah, you should sound way better. Yeah, Super Metroid's like the first game. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that I remember playing. Ocarina of Time is the first game I remember getting like super into.
Okay, that's fair.
I've been playing games for the majority of existence. What this is, I guess.
Basically, I think for me, in terms of gaming, the first game that really like resonates with me as a kid is probably Super Mario World. Like that's the one I remember just going to my uncle's house and playing on the Super Nintendo all the time and being frustrated because I couldn't get past like the first donut planes that you get to.
That's my problem. Is I always enjoyed Mario games, but I was never good at them up until like Sunshine. So all of those earlier ones I can respect from afar and enjoy the first couple of worlds. And it starts getting too hard.
And then there's like the secret roads you can take, and it just kind of goes from there. I guess for some more background, we did this before for a while, for what, 7 episodes, I think?
I don't know. That was like 2016-ish.
2017 is the last post on the Facebook that we made for the podcast.
The world really just kept getting better since 2017.
It's been nothing but gravy since then. But yeah, so we did this for a little bit. We learned that editing audio files is not fun at all.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't.
Not my favorite.
Yeah, especially when you don't have like a proper recording studio with properly insulated rooms and not a crappy $30 mic that I got from Micro Center. And we've talked about doing this before, and when I lived at the apartment with you, we kind of talked about it. We just never moved on it, but it seems like COVID has been the best.
I used to have a job, so that was something that was in the way.
Everyone has a Yeti now, Yeti Snowball. That's what I had at one point, and it was not a great mic for podcasting, Ryan. I feel like COVID kind of pushed us to doing this because we've kind of talked about it a little bit in the past couple months, and I was like, you know what, it'll be a great way for me to start branching out from just playing games again. I used to have a Yeti Snowball. Every streamer or anyone that wants to get into making YouTube videos or anything of that nature has had a Yeti product, and it's most likely been the Yeti Snowball because it's the most affordable mic that you can get at an entry level. I think, Dan, you have my old Yeti Snowball, if anything.
I think somewhere I need to... It's been a lot. There's been a lot. I had to play the Samurai game, so I didn't clean or find out where things were. I was busy with the Samurai game.
I was about to say, I've been busy with the Samurai game as well, and that's actually the best way to lead into our topic for the night. We're going to be talking about the first act of Ghost of Tsushima, and I'll let you lead it off if you want to just give like your opening opinions, and then we can kind of branch out from that.
Sure. I think E3 2018 is when they did we have like 4 big games with 4 weird concert pieces, and I think it was there that I really stopped watching any trailers for it, because I just thought, oh, that's a Samurai game. And then when the reviews came out, certain people that I follow, like Kyle Hilliard at MinMax, really was super into it. And I realized that I really like all of Sucker Punch's games, so I might as well get it. And also COVID. I got nothing, so I'll buy the Samurai game. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. Like, I've already finished it. I don't have the Platinum yet. But I'm going to get the Platinum. And then if they ever add New Game Plus or something like that, I'm definitely going to do it again. So...
I would assume New Game Plus is probably going to happen, considering they just patched in a hard mode into the game today.
God of War, they patched in one. Spider-Man, I don't remember if it had it at launch, but it has one, so I assume it's coming.
So I remember that E3 pretty vividly because they started out in the different rooms and got shuffled into different auditoriums for the presentations. Mm-hmm. And I remember people being confused by the Ghost of Tsushima one because it was that man playing the instrument on stage with like a nice open field in the background of him, if I remember correctly.
Like, it was cool, I guess, but not, I enjoy kind of where we're at now with E3 presentations, where it's just a half hour of trailers for things and maybe a talking head or two.
Yeah,
that's my sweet spot.
That's
concert performances.
That's where you want to be. Is just show me trailers, show me some gameplay. If you can give me a release date, awesome. If you can't, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, what's a release date anymore?
Exactly. But in terms of
got delayed, I believe.
I think it did. In terms of the game, I only saw the initial trailer for it, and I got pretty... The digital Devolver stuff is something of its own madness. That's a whole special atmosphere of crazy.
I don't count that. Just like old Ubisoft press conferences where there was always 5 minutes of...
Hey, Mr. Caffeine's a legend.
Presentation would be... Like, those are separate. That doesn't count.
No, but Mr. Caffeine's legendary at E3. It's a shame that E3 is bloated and ready to be put into its grave finally, because that used to be an event. I think it used to be an event.
Now it's an entire summer of just getting trailers every 4 days for something new.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I do miss old E3.
I miss old E3 as well. But back to Ghost of Tsushima, I wasn't gonna get it initially, and then I think I saw the launch trailer or the story trailer maybe like 2 weeks before it came out, and I was like, ooh, this hits all of the like things I want in a game right now, because nothing's really like fulfilling me in terms of what I'm playing at the moment. So I got it at launch, and if I finished Act 1 this weekend, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about. But I definitely think it's a game. I have a hard time finishing games as I've gotten older. I don't know if that's something you've encountered, but for me, I definitely struggle to finish a game. So I think this is going to be one in a very long while for me to finish.
It depends. Before 2020, there's pre and post. So in pandemic, I finish every game. I play them twice now. But yeah, I'll keep my discussion to just Act 1 and not spoil anything past that, obviously. But the most important question is, what color and name? What color is your horse, and what is its name?
Oh, I don't remember its name, but I picked the black horse that represents the sky.
So there's Kage, Nobu, and Sora.
I think it's Sora. I think I picked Sora because I'm a filthy weeb, and
that's fair. Yeah, I couldn't do Sora because I would just think of Kingdom Hearts, and I couldn't. So I went my horse, gray horse, right in the middle. Ray Skywalker.
Hang on.
Down the center. Nobu.
My one of my alerts went off, and for whatever reason, it is extremely long and loud. Why the hell do I hear Rise Your Flag? It's because Quantum hosted us. Quantum, thank you for the host, by the way. I deeply appreciate that. I will probably edit that bit out of the video. Turn off alerts. Yeah, no, I'll turn off alerts. I can do that right now. So anyway, your horse color and name, continue from that standpoint.
Gray horse named Nobu.
That's a dope name.
Yeah, I love Nobu. It's weird. I haven't played Last Guardian because I don't. Team Eco games just don't do it for me as much. I respect them, but I just haven't played them. But the bond I feel to my horse is more real than I felt since Roach in Witcher 3.
Roach. I will say the horse in
very good horse.
In Ghost of Tsushima is at least like competent and doesn't glitch.
True. I honestly, in my whole time with it, I didn't encounter any like glitches or hard crashes really. Like the jank occasionally, but nothing, you know.
I feel bad when I hit my horse with the samurai sword because like I hop off of it and then I
did that once, and it reminded me of Red Dead Redemption.
And that's
at least, you know.
And that's the point I was gonna make. I then was reminded of Red Dead Redemption, and I was like, ooh. Yeah.
Anytime I accidentally hurt an animal, I just think, oh hell. So that's great.
That's a game I gotta go back and finish. Actually,
how'd you feel about the intro? Just the getting to the actual gameplay.
Honestly, I think the intro is probably one of the more enjoyable intros I've had in a while. Just like you're there with your uncle on horse, and the Mongols are basically out on the shorefront, ready to attack, and it just kind of reminds me of like those epic battle scenes in movies, kind of like a Helm's Deep almost in a sense.
I can see that. Yeah, I really enjoyed getting to the gameplay relatively quickly. Not the full scope of the open world, but just
you get sword play. Yeah, you get sword play within the first.
It's really good in this.
Yeah,
it reminds me a bit of Jedi Fallen Order, just in the hey, you're just going to use this one weapon. Time to get good at it, and I really enjoyed that aspect. Parrying, I've always been okay at it because of Dark Souls, but never good enough at it to beat Sekiro. I'm in that zone, so I really, really, really enjoyed the combat in this one.
Mm-hmm. I will say the combat it feels simple, but it's also not simple at the same time in terms of the swordplay, because the game that I played a lot of that. It's not similar per se, but I played a lot of Nioh when Nioh first came out. Mm-hmm. That's like one of the first Soulsborne games that I put a lot of time into.
I'm playing Nioh 2 right now. It's
yeah. But someone decided to call me. But the swordplay in Nioh was, I thought, really good, and then I played this, and the ability to change your sword stance on the fly is very well done. The overall fluidity of how the sword moves on the screen and when it connects with the other swords, just it all feels I don't want to say perfect. Perfect's not the right word, 'cause there are issues I have with it sometimes, but it feels good. I feel the weight to everything. I feel the connection of hitting someone else's sword. Like, my character feels like a person, not just some like god tier samurai going through chopping people's arms off.
Yeah, I think for me the combat feels closest to like Arkham Asylum or like Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood-ish, where it encounters feel like a combat puzzle at times. A little like Doom, I guess, where it's like, okay, what stances do I have? How do I take these people out? And then for me, I think the struggle was starting to use archery in like a actual capacity instead of just picking people off from afar.
I thought archery was a little hard to actually do at first. I struggled with like that's the first time in a while where archery, like the pulling the bow back, actually increases the damage. I'm used to just like a quick snap and the person's dead.
That's fair. I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2, so I understand.
Yeah, Destiny 2 is just like click, they're gone.
Did you mainline the story content, or did you go and just start doing question marks? Because when I started, that first island, I cleared every icon on the map before I went and tried to activate that final story mission for the first island.
So I did do some of the question marks, but then I got really into doing the mythical quests. That was I found those to be really fun. I thought getting Heavenly Strike was the most best use of scenery for a boss fight, with like the thunderstorm and the lightning by you.
Yeah, we should have said something by now. This is probably the not best, like, in terms of facial animations or that, but in terms of like art style, art direction, like this is the best looking game I think I may have played next to like God of War, because there were multiple times, even if you're just riding a horse somewhere, that you're like, wow, this looks amazing. This is like, I could take this photograph in the photo mode and make it like a desktop wallpaper and just look at that and be like, wow, that's an amazing game. Like, I really,
yeah, it's
really respect it.
Some of the photo capture mode that I've seen from people in this game is just like, that's promotional material.
It really, yeah, it's really in depth. I only messed with it by accidentally hitting the button multiple times while playing, but like being able to set the weather and set it's really in depth. It seems really cool.
Yeah, it's just like the way the scenery's done, the way things are set up. Like when you go to get the armor, the mythical quest line for the armor, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I think it's for if you're doing like bow type stuff, you want to equip that armor because you get better.
Oh yeah, I don't want to brainstorm because I might say something from further on.
But yeah. But that armor.
That's another thing is I enjoyed the fact that the armor sets aren't just cosmetic necessarily. They are and they aren't, because they have bonuses to them that you can level up by just collecting money and items throughout the world and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed buffing up the armor that I really enjoyed, and then having sometimes just going for the fashion of what the mission is.
Yeah, that's the armor.
Yeah,
that's the armor. I definitely liked it. Sorry, I'm actually churning off notifications really quick. Clips.
That's fair.
Swank.
How did you feel about the characters that you've met so far? Did you do all of the so the icons reminded me of like GTA in a sense of like, okay, these people have missions for me to do. I want to know everything about like for me, trying to look through all of them and
so I kind of
Ishikawa, the archer, all of his quests I just did right in a row because I was really interested in where that was gonna go.
I really like each person's individual story. However, I spread it out. I kind of would go from one to another and then back again, to kind of break it up. The one that I probably did like in rapid succession was the Straw Hats.
Yes.
Because I liked him. I think that's cool history. As a fan of anime, that's like one of my favorite characters in anime is like a Straw Hat type samurai. So I'm just like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And
I really like Yuna as well.
Yuna,
I was predisposed just because I was like, I like Final Fantasy X, so you're my favorite character now. But then I actually think she's really cool.
Yeah, I don't dislike any of the characters that I've been introduced to. Actually, the Sake dude kind of gets under my skin a little bit, but I feel like he's there to be comedic relief.
But Yeah, it almost.
Yeah.
He's asking. That's fair. Uh, I think the game needs at least like some comedic relief because it does take itself very seriously most of the time. So I think even though he is a bit ham-fisted, he is the most like oh, is it Brucey in GTA 4? Is that the dude I'm thinking of?
I think it's Brucey. I think you're thinking of
Yeah,
Brucey.
like you need some kind of fringe weirdo a little bit.
Yeah, someone to, I guess, to break the humor up for a game that is in serious tone for the most part, because it does not let up with its story at all. It kind of just goes.
Still super.
I turned the decibel up. It should be a bit louder.
Well, I'll try stuff on my end, but yeah.
But anyway, no. I think in terms of narrative, it it just goes. It goes. It doesn't. It slows down, but it slows down in the right way, and then it ramps back up immediately. For me, at least.
Yeah, I kind of binged the game in like in the way I think most people watch Netflix shows, where I just like played it for the entirety of a day, and just it did. Some days it was like I want to push through, like Ishikawa's story, or some days I just want to go and find fox dens and explore, because the landscapes are just really, really, for me coming off of Last of Us 2, which is like still a graphical achievement, none of the places really were like, wow, I want to live here. But everything in Ghost of Tsushima just was, I don't know, it's hard to put a word to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Transported me into the world more than, like, I still fast travel all the time in every game, but it kind of reminded me of the feeling that Horizon Zero Dawn gave me of, enjoying the world that they've set up, knowing that it's not a real. I know this isn't, history. I know that the Mongols didn't all,
It's
I know
not
that none of this happened this way,
it's
but it's
not,
an interesting time to jump into for a story.
yeah, it's not historically perfect. I recognize that, and I like to think most decently educated people can recognize it's not a historically perfect game, but it, like you said, it transports you at least into another type of existence that you necessarily wouldn't get out of most other games. Like The Last of Us, I don't know if that makes you feel like you're going to live in the post-apocalyptic world that we're slowly building to in this pandemic type era we live in, but
Yeah, I won't talk about Last of Us 2 because that'll be a separate thing. You haven't finished?
I watched a little bit of Emily's Let's Play today with her, and I don't remember what.
Well, so once you've maybe seen the whole thing, we could talk about that. But it's hard to compare. It's really hard to compare because Ghost of Tsushima feels more like when the movie theaters were still a thing, where you just have like the one kind of tentpole summer action film. It's smarter than the Meg, but in a sense, it reminds me of that because you look at it and you go like, oh, is it just samurai game? And they're like, yeah, but we like made the best possible samurai game. We put all the care in, like really, really polished it.
Yeah,
Compared
it's
to like, The Last of Us 2, where it's like, like when I had people coming to see Uncut Gems because they're like, I love Adam Sandler.
the Last of Us
kind of tones for
yeah,
different things.
I guess the way I would look at it in terms of movies is Ghost of Tsushima is like the John Wicks of movies. They are unique and put you in the world they want you to be in, and they tell the story they need to tell. Whereas The Last of Us 2 is, like you said, it's the uncut gems of games. It's like,
yeah,
it's a thing,
it really
it's
is,
here.
in that sense.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Uncut Gems is a great movie, and
It is.
I haven't played The Last of Us 2. I've only watched a Let's Play, so I can't call it a great game, but I recognize it looks like a very well-made game that I would probably enjoy for the most part.
But this one just felt like I don't like, I know a lot of people like Stranger Things and stuff like that, but I've never really had a Netflix show that like hit for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like that, where like getting the bursts of story when I got it was great, and then just exploring the world was great. So I enjoyed the only thing, the leveling. How did you take to that? Did you go through the stances or through the ghost weapons, or?
It was a little bit of everything that I went through. I was big with going through the stances and some of the upgrades that come with it, personally.
Okay. Well, you played Devil May Cries and things like that, so a lot of that seems like second nature.
Yeah.
In terms of the combos and things like that.
Yeah, doing the stances made the most sense to me because if I get into large fights, I can quickly change out of stance and just combo out of what I need to combo out of. However, the AI, it's aggressive when it wants to be. It can be dumb, but it can also just like, oh hey, we're gonna be really aggressive in this fight.
I did die a fair number of times. I feel like certain encounters I could just like run in and just cut people apart and do whatever I wanted. But then other times, it really would smack you in the face and go like, no, actually think about this encounter. Don't just run in and, stab the first person you saw. How did you feel about the cutscene when you do your first stealth kill? I thought that seems to be kind of a narrative emotional crutch. Not crutch, but like center point of the game and what it's setting up.
Yeah, I think it helps you understand the confliction that Jin is going to have going forward, and especially more so with his uncle. For those of you that are listening, his uncle gets captured in the opening acts of the game, and you're trying to rescue him throughout Act 1. And one of the things you learn with Jin is a samurai doesn't kill someone like a ninja. You don't stealthily kill somebody. That is considered cowardice.
It's dishonorable.
Yeah, it's dishonorable.
It's a cowardly move.
Yeah. So when Jin does it, you see him have that emotional conflict pretty hardcore. And the other thing that I liked early in the game is the use of the flashbacks. I thought that was good. I normally hate flashbacks in any form of media, personally.
Yeah, sometimes in a game a flashback can run a little long, but I thought that most of these really were just to hammer home who this character is, because I think sometimes in a maybe not, I don't know, I don't want to compare games the whole time, but a lot of times that's fair, they don't build the character out too well because they're kind of an avatar for you, but I really feel like I got to know who Jin is and how he would react to things, and I thought that his character was actually deeper than some, what's his name? Talion from Shadow of Mordor.
Yes, you feel like a person. You feel like you have a history in the world and a connection. It felt reminiscent to like a GTA protagonist, because well, that's not true, because some of the GTA protagonists are avatars in their own sense, but I think 5 per se, they're individual characters, and they felt Jin feels like an individual character, not just like you said, Talion in Shadow of War, where it's, I'm Gondor man, I am here to save Middle Earth from this this crisis that is happening.
Here is my friend Shelob. She's a lady now.
Shelob is hot now. That is relevant in the grand scheme of things. But no, I definitely liked it. The ghost mechanics are kind of standard. It's what you would get out of any open world game.
Yeah,
Shelob was always.
I was tempted to say that, but Brave Soul in chat is willing to make the hottest of top takes.
That is Gormley. Gormley's got us.
Yeah, I was trying to leave him a shred of anonymity.
Nope, we're gonna out him as someone who wants to fuck a spider. That's what we're doing.
There's a subreddit for that, I'm sure.
Probably.
How did you like the grappling hook?
It was okay. So I played a little bit of Sekiro because I borrowed it from a coworker. So that I think that grappling hook is better in Sekiro.
Yeah, that's fair. But also, I feel like as not grounded as Ghost of Tsushima can be, it is trying to tell a somewhat grounded tale that if you're like Spider-Man web zipping around to platforms and cutting people's throat open, it might make it a bit tougher.
Ooh, I would, if that was DLC though, and I could just have like web shooters and zip around that world.
PlayStation All-Stars 2, it's Jin, it's Spider-Man, and it's Aloy, and they've all got web shooters now.
But it's
Battle Royale.
I guess if this is to be the final chapter of a PlayStation exclusive, it is definitely the game to go out on. More so than The Last of Us.
Like capital V, capital G video game.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoy it in every aspect of what you're trying to do when you're playing it. Like, if you just want story, it's really well done. If you just want to mess around in an open world and check things off a map like Ubisoft games, it's kind of one of the best. God.
I was gonna say, normally in like the world, I get bored of open world games within the first like 6 hours because the map gets cluttered. I hate the HUD system normally, and you just get tired of progressing the story because it's just kind of like going nowhere.
I think that another thing that we should have mentioned is the mechanic of swiping up on the D-pad and having the wind blow towards your objective is maybe my favorite new mechanic I've seen in the game in a while.
It makes the controller have a purpose.
You don't have to be in the map. You can. That's what I spent so long in the beginning just collecting flowers because it would just go, oh hey, there's one this way, and I just keep going and exploring. And it also with the controller speaker. Usually I turn that off, but in this game I actually felt like it added character, and I really enjoyed whenever like the objective would change and you'd hear the gust of wind. I actually enjoyed it.
The controller speaker, this is the first time I actually was like, oh shit, I actually like this. So actually, this is the second time. The other game that I'm gonna out myself. I like playing baseball games. I bought MLB The Show 2019 for like...
When you hit like a home run, does it do a bat cracking?
Oh, it's even better. So when you're running the bases, it'll tell you if it wants you to advance to second base if you got a double. Like, the third base coach will come onto the little speaker on your controller and tell you to round the base. It is...
That's really good.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, this is good. You got me. But no, it's the best use of the controller, and it is definitely, I think, the best way to end the PlayStation 4 era. And Ryan in chat says this is the best Assassin's Creed to date.
It is interesting because like I'll wind up playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Valhalla, right?
Yeah, I'll probably play it.
I'm still thinking Ragnarok, but it's Valhalla.
Ubisoft is gross, but I do want to play that game.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
that's the problem.
So there's that. It's my favorite Assassin's Creed since Brotherhood, I guess.
For me,
Double Shields is a good point. No, it's a hard thing to weigh.
Morally
most people are garbage.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Morally speaking, a current Ubisoft game will make me feel kind of icky, but
there's also a ton of people working on those games that are putting their heart.
Yeah,
you respect that, and it's the whole thing. It's very messy.
Yeah, and then what Mike said, Ghost of Tsushima kind of shows that you don't need to keep rebooting and making sequels to have a good game. That's pretty accurate.
Because I've never been like the samurai person. I think the aesthetic visually is cool, but really I came in because like Sucker Punch between Sly Cooper, which at a certain point you can feel the lineage from Sly Cooper to Ghost of Tsushima instead of the stealth, which makes me happy because I love PS2 era character platformers. And then Infamous, I didn't love Second Son as much, but all of their games are at least of a level of quality where you know you're going to enjoy the experience. And it may not like change your perspective on video games as a whole, but you'll really enjoy yourself. Yeah. And so that's why I'm gonna go back kind of the way I do with Spider-Man and probably play that game like once a year.
And that's kind of how I feel with Sucker Punch. I like Sly Cooper games. I don't love them necessarily as much as anyone else because I'm more of a Spyro kid growing up. But
you can be all of them.
I can be all of them. But
Ratchet and Clank is number one, but that's separate.
I thought the first Infamous was really good, and the DLC that came with it, and then the second Infamous 2 was, I think, the best way to end that franchise because Second Son is not a bad game. It's not a good game. It's one of those. It's like Final Fantasy 15. It's an open world game, but there's nothing to do in it.
Yeah, I can see that comparison.
And then First Light is actually very good. And I think that's maybe the game they wanted to make, but they didn't know how to get there without making Second Son first. And I think all of that kind of builds and pays off in Ghost of Tsushima because I'm about to say Second Son came out launch, I think. So it's been a while since Sucker Punch has put something out, I feel like.
That's the thing is, as much as you don't need to make sequels to have good games, I do want a sequel to this, like, now. So, you know.
Yeah, and I hope when I get to the end of the game, there is enough to warrant a sequel. Final Fantasy 15 is forgiven as it is a sandbox test for Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
And now Final Fantasy 13 is good because the combat, it's really that niche of combat, a tiny little kernel was there. So everyone likes Lightning now. Everyone
wins. I mean, I think it was someone on the MinMax show said that Lightning is just female Cloud.
Well, her name's like that was literally what they were told to do, is just make Lady Cloud, and they're like, all right, here you go. Yeah, well, now we're on Final Fantasy. I will say, compared Final Fantasy VII Remake, right now my game of the year, I'm not sure between Final Fantasy VII Remake and Ghost of Tsushima.
So I haven't.
That's a lot for me.
I haven't played a lot this year. There's other things I need to get through and play, but Ghost of Tsushima is probably my current game of the year. There's a couple other games I need to circle back on.
Did you play Final Fantasy VII?
I have not. I will get
the original.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Yeah, no, I played the original. I played the original.
We'll do a game of the year thing, and it's gonna come up, and it's gonna be a conversation. So I
don't know. It's like the last time.
I really am enjoying. I would play Ghost again. That's the thing. Is it reminds me of, like, I don't know, when you'd watch a movie as a kid and you didn't understand that time is finite, so you go like, I'm gonna watch that movie again right now. Like, it's that kind of experience that's just enjoyable the whole way through.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if I get tired of Ghost of Tsushima going forward, like I do with most open world games, and where I have to set it down and come back to it later. Like I finally finished Red Dead back in January, and I had that game for almost a year. At that point,
that's actually how long it takes everyone to beat Red Dead. No one's actually, there's some reviewers, but they made it up. They didn't finish it.
Yeah, it's just it's hard, and Red Dead made me feel like empty inside after I finished it, because it's the game's been out long enough, so I'll spoil things. I grew attached to Arthur in a way I didn't think I would grow attached to, and I wasn't ready for the ending that it gave me. Even though
You go ahead.
I was gonna say I knew it was coming, but I was just still not emotionally ready for it, I guess.
That's fair. You grow attached to someone over a period of time. That's natural. For me, it was the prequel aspect. How did you feel about the epilogue, I guess, is my question.
The epilogue was special. I didn't necessarily need it, because now I just want to be like, yo, so you're gonna remake Red Dead like this, right?
Rogue One did.
Yeah, it's something you don't need. If they were to remake or do another Red Dead, which I'm sure Rockstar will, I think I would want to play as John's son at that point, kind of like you did at the end of the first game, and see where his story goes. But that's a whole other conversation for another day. So if I were to, before we were doing the pre-show, I said there was a game that I really thought of when I was playing Ghost of Tsushima, and that is Mass Effect 2.
Kind of the getting the team together aspect.
Yes. The getting the team together, every time I went to go recruit somebody, in my head I'm just like, I could be playing Mass Effect 2 right now, getting the gang back together to go destroy some Reapers.
I always want to play Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, I always want to play Mass Effect as well, but that is it's weird how a game about samurai could make me think about a sci-fi game from a completely different studio that has a completely different way of making games.
That's fair. I think it's because in that same sense of, like, Mass Effect 2 felt like episodes of a TV show in a season, in the sense of, like, here's Mordin, here's Liara if you have the DLC, stuff like that. It's similar in the kind of bingeable side missions in Ghost.
And I guess Ghost of Tsushima definitely feels episodic sometimes, or at least like you're watching a 20-minute YouTube video of something. One of the encounters I had is the bridge, where the nephew is trapped on the bridge and you have to just kill the archers that are shooting at them. And I'm just like, this is cool. If these are what encounters are like in this game, I'm going to enjoy this more, versus a Rockstar game where the encounters are like its own subsect of things you have to do.
Or just punching innocent bystanders on the street.
Yeah, and it's... Oh, Trevor, how you'll always be problematic going forward in life. Yeah, and that's the thing, is just the random encounters and the missions you walk into even feel more lifelike than your typical Assassin's Creed game, or anything like I guess a Far Cry. I don't really finish Far Cry games because narratively they're kind of dog shit and the gunplay gets boring after a while.
I can't argue that, I guess. I really like 3 and 4 and Blood Dragon. That's all. That's the end of it. We can move on.
Yeah,
those ones. Hey.
Ghost of Tsushima doesn't make super generic encounters that are common, but a fresh... Yes, it'll make a generic encounter feel fresh at the very least. And
I think that's kind of what the whole game is it doesn't feel like anything new, but it kind of remixes existing video game tropes and narrative things, but kind of just does them in an interesting way.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I think I told this to you. It's what I kind of wish Breath of the Wild was in a sense. It's linear in the sense I know where I'm always going, but I can still explore. There's not that big of a HUD. It's very minimalistic, but I don't have to deal with weapons breaking and things like that. And the other big takeaway for me with it is, it, like you said, it does everything that another open world game has already done, but in its own unique way, or makes it a little bit better in the very least sense.
So, I didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to talk about Ghost-wise, because I had a question of I'm looking through the rest of the releases for 2020.
Sure.
Is there anything else besides, I mean, off the top of my head, before I look through, Cyberpunk 2077 is probably, in the front running for Game of the Year contenders. Is there anything else that you think that you're like excited for or looking forward to that you think might knock some of these out of number one?
Let me pull up the list really quick and see what is left on the
Because
calendar.
of COVID, there's not like the most games.
So we're...
And then console launches as well. Are you gonna get a console?
So
a
there's
launch PS5?
there's two ways I might end up with a launch PS5. One, we get more Trump bucks, so that's
fair.
That's one way. Or my mother is selling one of the motorcycles that we own, and if that actually happens and I get the money from that, that might go into
some hog money.
Get some hog
money from the hog.
Yeah, get some hog money and get a so before I tell you what games I'm excited for, my biggest disappointment from this year is still Warcraft 3 Reforged. That is still the most hurtful thing I've spent money on this year. Luckily I got the money back, but I was so pissed.
Yeah, it's a disappointing situation all around.
May, June, July. Okay.
The first thing I even see that's a game that I will play, unless I'm missing something, there's so many Steam games and so many everything else, but is Marvel's Avengers.
Oh man,
which it's because of who I am and all of this, and I have to play it.
I didn't like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I did not enjoy that.
No, I didn't either, but I had to play it. That's not how it works.
So I hope this game is good, so it fixes that itch that I have.
I really hope I like it more than Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I'll be really sad if I don't
exactly.
like it more than that.
But at a quick glance for August, for the meme factor, I'm gonna check out Fast and Furious Crossroads because
oh boy, have you seen the trailers for that? The more recent ones, the gameplay.
I want my PS2 game. Actually,
yeah, it did. Yeah, it's a PS2
game. No, there's not a whole lot coming out in August that really interests me. I might get Horizon for my computer. That's of interest. September.
Good game.
September has Marvel.
Of Amalur Re-Reckoning.
Yeah, I might get that. I never played it though. I own it on Steam and I never played it, so I don't know if I necessarily need to.
Probably. I don't know how much work they're putting into the Re-Reckoning, but the original Reckoning's right there. It's fun. I've played it. I don't remember anything about it besides enjoying the combat and playing it a lot, but
yeah, it's. I don't know. I remember you playing it. I remember looking at watching you play it. I'm like, that looks fun, I guess. I think you had double circular blades that were enchanted, and your dude just dumped damage on characters.
Chakrams. Yeah, it's fun open world kind of generic fantasy. I don't remember much about any of the actual bits, so gameplay was good.
I'm actually gonna get the Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD remaster. That is on my list. That comes out in October.
Oh, all the way down in October. Oh, Crash Bandicoot 4 though. I don't know. It's tough when you're, unemployed and there's a pandemic, but they go, there's a new Crash Bandicoot, and you go, well, if 8-year-old me knew I didn't get the new Crash Bandicoot, he'd be pretty pissed.
It's I can't let down my childhood. Watch Dogs Legion comes out apparently in October.
Yeah.
That's a game.
It looks the systems look interesting. For me it was the trailer that in their E3, whatever you call it, video, where it's you could be this guy with a wrench and he'll hit people with a wrench, or this lady has, I don't know, I guess I need to see the weird things that come out of people playing it, if there's that much variation in it, to get excited, to know it's not just you can play as a granny, which is great, and that's what I do the whole time is just be the old lady character. But I don't know, nothing about the story necessarily. I liked the Spider-Verse trailer that they did that had one of the people that worked on Spider-Verse just do that.
Yeah,
If that was the aesthetic, that'd be really cool. But it just
I
kind of reminded me of Ubisoft games at this point, which
it's
every once in a while there's something really interesting, I think, possibly.
yeah,
Like
and
Dual Shield. But,
Dual Shields is cool.
It's very cool.
I think
Cap
with
in Infinity War.
I think with Legion, my feelings are Watch Dogs 1 is bad inherently in terms of its story. In terms of gameplay, it's average at best, but in the story, it's bad. 2, it's very self-aware of what it is in terms of the story, and it's colorful, which is an improvement from the first game, and the combat's a lot better. This one, it feels like a departure, and you're going back to what the first one was, but you can play as anyone you want, and I don't know. I guess I need to wait and see if that gimmick pays off for them. Deathloop, I don't think comes out this year.
No, I just looked because I'm just looking at Wikipedia and it wasn't on there, and it's Q4 2020, and that is like #1. I love arcane games, and Dishonored is amazing.
Yeah.
So I really want to play Deathloop. I just didn't know that was this year. That is a big contender for #1.
That's the one
on a bit of its promise. And also the Yakuza game where it's
I was about to say
Dragon
that.
Quest. I really want to play
Yakuza
Dragon Quest.
I do want to play Like a Dragon because it's such a unique departure of how the combat works in a Yakuza game. And I actually finished the most recent one about
6.
Yeah,
Six.
It's 6. This is 7. I finished 6 probably about 3 months ago, and that was I think like a really great bookend. So I'm ready for what the new chapter of characters is going to be in that world. Cyberpunk, sure. I was really excited for it, and my excitement has toned down every time CD Projekt opens their mouth. They kind of put their foot in it somehow. Whoever runs their PR shouldn't be allowed to handle their PR. And Valhalla, if I get over how I feel about Ubisoft by then, maybe I'll get it.
That's the whole thing. For me, Cyberpunk, I just need to like feel how the game handles, because CD Projekt Red hasn't made first-person shooters as far as I know. I know them mainly for The Witcher. If there is anything else besides Gwent, so I really need to know how just getting around that world works. Is it just to get the actual feel of it, because I know the writing is going to probably be fantastic and the world is going to be interesting. So I'm totally in for that. Although I am worried. I feel like I would have to get a PS5 just so that game would be able to run, because even Ghost, my PS4 was hot. Like, it was not enjoyable. It literally made the air temperature change in my room because it was so hot.
So I have a Pro, and even my Pro sounds like a jet engine when I run. When I was running it on my 4K TV in the living room, it's just like I'm like, ooh, you only get that loud when I was playing Red Dead, so that's interesting.
I will say, going through the unlisted like Q4 releases, Spider-Man is the only other one that I'm super in for. That's the one that makes me buy a PS5 theoretically at launch, depending on how many consoles they make, because they said that there's just not going to be as many at launch as you would normally have because of everything going on in the world. So I'm interested to see A, price, B, release date, because if I saw that Walmart is closed on Thanksgiving this year, and Black Friday is still going to be Black Friday, but also you can't put that many people in a building, but people are going to be trampling. So I don't know how any of this works, or when the consoles come out, or when they ship. If it's like the Oculus Rift, where like people just get them in random staggered orders.
I think I need to know when the new systems come out, which I think Ryan is saying in November. So firm release date, can I pre-order it either through the Sony website or can I pre-order it through Amazon? Because I've become a homebody in a sense during quarantine, and
that's what you're supposed to be doing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wear a mask. Wash your hands.
Exactly.
We could. I don't care about sports. We could have sports back.
We could have sports back, but yeah, I think if I'm able to get a pre-order down, I'll do it. I guess my decision is going to have to come down to, do I want the disc drive or do I not want the disc drive, and if it's that big of a difference in price.
Yeah, I guess the price difference is the question, because depending on the size. Have they said the hard drive size is like a terabyte, 4 terabytes, 200 terabytes?
I believe it's like it's like 1 terabyte. I think I had to look. It's not. I don't think it's a big hard drive. I don't think they actually revealed the hard drive space on the 5 yet.
That's the thing is, the 3-day period in chat, like it's got to be November. In that period, that's when they release consoles generally. Maybe late October, because Ubisoft loves to be launch titles on new stuff. Mid-October maybe, but it's just so weird to me. Kind of like Call of Duty, where they're just not talking about it. And then you see a bag of Doritos and you're like, oh, I guess they're making a Call of Duty. Like, it's weird to be this close to it and have just nebulous details.
I will say on Call of Duty, I don't know what happened to me, but I used to hate those games after the first couple Modern Warfares, and I don't know if it's just because I'm older and the gameplay loop is a lot more, like, easy for me or more appealing, but I genuinely just like playing them again. And that's crazy that in a 3-day period, the new Destiny raid comes out, Valhalla and Cyberpunk. One of the two is going to push itself back, if I had to guess. It's probably the Destiny raid.
No, they delayed the season to that point. So if they delay it again, that's a whole other... Sorry, I'm too into Destiny. What's up?
No, that's fair. The PlayStation 5 is going to have a 825 gigabyte SSD drive on it. I don't know why they can't just spare for a 1 terabyte SSD drive.
Yeah, that's not enough. That's the thing is, like, I got Ghost of Tsushima digitally. I get a lot of games digitally, unless I think I'm not gonna like actually play the game again. And I also like disc drives, and this one also, the disc drive is the 4K Blu-ray, so that would be a good way for me personally to get one of those. So.
And apparently...
both of them getting delayed to that time frame. It reminds me of when, not that they're quite on the same level, but when Batman v Superman had a release date, and then Marvel was like, actually, that's funny, because that's when Civil War comes out. And they were like, we're coming out of this.
Gotta scramble.
We're over here. We had to delay it for reasons.
Apparently, World of Warcraft has a DLC expansion coming out.
Yeah, what is it?
Shadowlands?
Yeah, that is.
I'm
not a WoW person. I was at one point, but now I'm a Destiny person now, and I can't do both.
Shadowlands to console, is that actually confirmed, or is that just like still a rumor? Because I saw the image of someone saying it's going to be on Xbox.
I would like to see. I mean, Diablo plays well on a console, so it's possible that they could somehow figure that out. And Final Fantasy XIV runs well on a console. I don't think it's
it's getting rated. Okay.
Best way to play.
That
would be very funny though. I would very much like to see World of Warcraft running on like an Xbox One.
They haven't confirmed console yet. Okay. I think for me, I know the game still has a subscription, and I know they probably have a shit ton of subscribers still, so it'll never go away. But at this stage, I feel like WoW should just be free to play at this point. But that's neither here nor there. That's a
they could do it like Destiny. I don't know how Destiny's free to play necessarily works because I just bought the expansions, but.
So all you had to get for Steam for Destiny was WoW on my Xbox, baby. What's up, Jay? How's it going, man? For Destiny, you get the Year 1 DLC, and I think all you had to get was Shadowkeep and Forsaken, and then whatever the new one's going to be.
Yeah, I bought the upgraded edition and have the season pass and all that.
And I will agree with that, Mike. I guess I would rather pay for a subscription than have like because that's why I don't like playing SWTOR anymore. SWTOR is free to play, but if you pay for like a subscription, you don't have to deal with all the shit that's in it.
Sorry, I was just reading about the Shadowlands expansion and that they have like a new game plus zone where you get updated starting. It sounds actually very interesting. Oh no, I used to say I don't have the time to play World of Warcraft, but now everyone in the world knows it's a lie. Everyone has enough time to play WoW.
The pandemic states otherwise. You have enough time to play WoW.
Yeah, everyone has enough time, apparently.
For me, to change subjects, the Xbox showcase was last week. How did that make you feel?
I'm in a weird space because like I have a PC, so ostensibly even Microsoft, I'm sure Phil Spencer is like, oh yeah, get Halo on a PC, it's fine. Get Game Pass for PC, and they're still happy. But Halo does look very good. I will play Halo.
I will say Infinite
I was sad
looks
Fable
fun.
with just that tiny little dot. That's my main thing. Is it reminded me of last year's E3 when I watched Square Enix's whole press conference going, I gotta see Avengers, and then you see Avengers and you're like, oh no, I sat through this whole thing. Fable, I think for how long it's been rumored, you could have shown some gameplay. Give me something more than like, okay, wacky British humor, great, nailed the tone. Give me something.
I would assume there's a build of it. Maybe they're just not confident in what the build is. And Santa, why are you not happy with Halo? Like, is it how it looked? Because I think it's probably going to look fine when it's all said and done.
I think the problem with Halo's perception is that they haven't talked enough about it. So this was a lot of people's first like look at like, here's what we're going for, and it looked like Halo. So like, not saying it looks bad, because it looks fine to me, but I think if some people thought this was going to be like, they didn't put a number on it, this is their reinvention of the whole thing, and then they go for the Force Awakens type thing of like, look, it looks like Blood Gulch. I can't think of the map that it looks like, and literally made me go like, is that where we are?
Yeah.
It feels like that kind of Force Awakens-y thing of like, hey, Master Chief is going to have adventures, he's going to fight Covenant, he's going to fight the bad guys from Halo Wars 2 or something. And, you know, it'll be fine. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be something crazy different. I don't really know.
Yeah, and I think what Jay's saying is Microsoft is selling an ecosystem now. They could care less about the box itself. Is pretty accurate. I think.
I do like the box. I like the visual design of the box. That's my favorite thing about this generation that we're going into, is just putting visual, like the actual box more of a forefront. Like the PS5's weird obelisk that is 8 feet tall or whatever. I'll put it in my house. I don't care.
And Santa, I guess to touch on your point, I think that build of the game is 6 months old. That's from January that we saw. So hopefully it's a very different look and feel when it's all said and done. And I'm excited for Halo, but I do think this might be the last Xbox, honestly.
Well, I think that's how they're pitching it. It's the Series X, and then if they want to do another one down the line, they just call it the Xbox whatever. Because you realize that, like, realistically, like my PC, I built it in 2016, and it, maybe on low could run Cyberpunk, and it's lasted about that long. So now I would naturally upgrade it more. So that's why they had the Pro and stuff like that. But instead of putting a number on it, like the PS5 is going to be the PS6 eventually, Xbox is kind of pivoting into like, hey, this thing comes with Game Pass. If you want to play Halo on day one, it's on Game Pass. So like, go for it. Like for me, if it's also day one on PC, like I don't see an argument for me not to play Halo, because it's like, hey, just sign up for Game Pass. It's right there. Hey, did you want to play Gears 5? It's over here.
Yeah,
like it's a good service. I just
if you're
nothing in the Xbox ecosystem really besides Fable I'm excited for would have been the thing like for I think the other problem is the Sony conference I really enjoyed, where Miles Morales looks great. Ratchet and Clank I'm a huge fan of. So it was like, oh man. So I knew that the Xbox One wasn't going to have like, hey, we're making another KOTOR with Obsidian or something crazy.
Yeah.
That was going to get hype moment.
Someone on Twitter put it is every game looked good, not great, and every game felt fine, like it could exist right now, but not on a next-gen console to a degree.
It was just nothing for me. I mean, like, I really appreciated that there's moments like, hey, is this Stalker 2 is coming out? Like,
Stalker 2 got me really excited.
Stuff like that is crazy. In like when they announced Deadly Premonition 2, where I was like, that's amazing. I don't really want to play that game, but this is incredible that it's coming out. Like, what a weird 2020.
Yeah.
But there was nothing in that whole conference that really, besides like Halo I'll play, Fable I know I'll play. Theoretically, you know, you got to show it. But
yeah, so to catch up with chat really quick, it looks like so Jay said the problem with Halo is if you were not already a Halo fan, this isn't going to make anyone a new fan. That's probably accurate. And then
Halo is Star Wars now. It's been around long enough that it's Star Wars. If you change Halo and say, hey, we're fighting these guys now, then people go, where are the Covenant? The same way that if you're not fighting stormtroopers, regardless of how they're stormtroopers, it's not Star Wars. So Halo has to be on the Halo ring.
Yeah.
And you got to be fighting Covenant. There's got to be set piece moments that look fantastic, but it's never going to be, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it could be, because it's Halo. You know what I mean? It's kind of, once you start changing, like even God of War, I think handled it in a really good way of transitioning. But once you change everything about a thing, it's kind of like, well, this isn't even, you know, what I like. Like, I'm sure there's someone out there that loved Thor 1 and 2 and then was like, Thor 3 was too goofy. They're stupid. But they're probably real.
Yeah, the thing with, like, at least God of War at least calls back to where it comes from for you.
Yeah, and Halo, like, I've heard, mild spoilers for Halo 5, I've heard that the Cortana is not going to be, like, the main focus of the game, and her turning bad, which was, like, the whole thing of 5. So it almost reminds me of the new Halloween movies, where they're like, look, we know we made a lot of these. but we also know that when you think of Halo, you're probably thinking of 1 through 3. So let's just pivot back to Halo, what you like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to start playing the Master Chief Collection. These are words I never thought I'd be saying in my lifetime. I am excited to go back and play Halo 1, 2, and 3 and Reach. And specifically 1, because I have this weird memory of going over to my friend's house after school, sitting down and just getting headshot with a pistol halfway across the map in the first Halo. And I remember playing that game on Legendary mode with him in co-op, and it was ODS.
Yeah, I was waiting for chat to yell at you for that, because that's all I was thinking.
ODST,
it's part of the bundle now. Does it have Firefight? Can I just play Firefight?
It's not on the PC version of the game yet, so I can't play it. Because otherwise I would be saying I was going to play ODST. That's like the best one.
I'm so sad. But no, ODST is really good still. Even if it's just the campaign, it's still better. Well, my personal ranking is different from everyone else's, so.
Yeah, I want to play Reach. Reach is the one I specifically want to play again because I think I beat that in a sitting. That's how much I really liked that game. So I would like to. Yeah, I like about to say I'm with Mike. I like Reach more than ODST, but that's just a personal preference in terms of.
I never got to play Reach because that was. Well, Reach was 360, right?
Yeah, because remember.
Yeah, I guess I just never bought it, so I don't know.
I
don't know why I never played Reach.
No, you were playing. So I remember this because I beat it at your house.
I remember you playing it there.
Yeah.
I don't. I was playing. It's like, hey, Sonic Generations came out or something weird.
No, you were playing a Final Fantasy. I just don't remember which Final Fantasy you were playing.
They probably put 10 out again, and I went, oh, I gotta play that one. Unless it was 13, because that game was 100 hours.
It might have been 13.
What year is what we're talking about? What year is Reach? It's 20 like.
Reaches?
Avengers is 2012. That's like 2010.
It's like 2009, 2010, somewhere in there.
Probably Mass Effect 2. I was probably just playing Mass Effect 2 again. Most of that time.
Yeah, and I'll agree with what Mike is saying in the chat. 2 has the best.
Mike is correct.
Yeah, 2 has the best story. 3 has the best multiplayer, and Reach is just dope. That is probably the best way to summarize it. And then
I think ODST has the best. I want to say best soundtrack, but you can't discount the Halo theme.
The Halo theme's too good.
Yeah,
the other topic is what Jay is saying is that Halo made FPSs like enjoyable on the console, and I do have to agree with that because before they felt like rail shooters almost, like you're just like on ice skates. Like
I mean, I still remember. I remember going to a GameStop and they had a Halo kiosk and just playing through the Pillar of Autumn section and going like, what? No, I need to play this whole game.
What's a different?
I think that's the first shooter because I got like that and oh boy, I think Call of Duty 2 and 3 like before it became what it is now, and like that shooting in that one, honestly, like I'm a Destiny person now into my soul, so I can't do that, but it's probably easily best console first-person shooter, especially in the Xbox PS2 era.
Yeah, and the other like first-person shooter from that era that really comes to mind for me is the first Killzone is kind of okay, but there's a game called Black, and I don't think a lot of people remember that game.
I remember the box when I was at GameStop, but
yeah.
that's
that game
Black
probably
Mag.
Jesus. Black has probably some of the best like PlayStation 2 era shooting. And then for the Xbox 360, it boils down to: did you play Call of Duty or did you play Halo 3? Those were the big ones.
I played Call of Duty. Well, I guess I played both. But
I played both. I played a lot of COD.
I played a lot of Modern Warfare, but the one, like, if I think back, it's just playing World at War for some reason. That's the one I played like the most between like when Zombies was new and just regular Call of Duty. For some reason, that's the one that my mind snaps to, even though realistically. I played a lot of Modern Warfare 2.
I think
a lot of all of them, but
I think it's because people slept on World at War, and World at War is like the most enjoyable
it's hard to
one.
Say anyone slept on a Call of Duty. Let me just Google how much Call of Duty World at War is sold.
When I say slept on, though, I mean
but I want to mock you now.
No. Yeah, that's fair. You can mock me, but when people talk about like their favorite Call of Duties, you're gonna get Modern Warfare 2, the first Black Ops, and that's it. That's all people care about.
I understand. In the first 2 months, it sold over 3 million.
Oh, shit. Okay.
To be fair, I think didn't Ghost of Tsushima or something. It said that it sold like 3 million copies in the first 3 days. I'm gonna look that up too.
I think so.
But yeah, That's the one I always snap back to, which is why I'm theoretically interested in this year's Call of Duty, but they don't want to tell me about it. They didn't give a trailer to Microsoft like they usually do, or even, well, I would normally say Sony doesn't need that trailer, but it opened with the GTA 5 trailer, so I guess it's more about the money, I guess. I don't know why. What do you think is something that the Xbox conference could have had, even if it's a pie-in-the-sky dream, that would have gotten you excited? Because for me, it would be, hey, we somehow paid enough people that Obsidian can make a new KOTOR game. Or even, let's remake KOTOR 2 and finish it. Like, or... I don't know.
If you were to tell me, like, what would get me to
Jade Empire 2, but BioWare's not making it, because BioWare makes me sad now.
So in terms of me buying a console, or just me being fully on board with what Microsoft is doing completely, I guess?
Being on board with what they're doing. Because, like, if you said, hey, you can see... what the first year of PlayStation exclusives or Xbox exclusives are. You can like see a list or see trailers for them. I'd be more interested in seeing more of Miles Morales, more of Ratchet and Clank, more of Horizon 2, a teaser for, if anyone even said the word Bloodborne 2, I'm gonna like go to that side. So that's the problem I'm at. But like what like KOTOR would make me, if they said, if we were back to PCs don't exist and it was console exclusive, KOTOR 1 was always the one that I'd like read the review in Game Informer and just feel sad I couldn't play. Like that was that and Halo were the two things that would drive me over there, and also Jade Empire, because no one ever talks about Jade Empire, and I think the PC version doesn't work too well.
Oh, the PC version plays bad. So I've got two. There's two things that if Microsoft were to announce either one, I would be on board completely. The first one would be I would want somehow they get the rights to do a KOTOR, like you said. That would be the one that like really like makes me on board. Like, yeah, here's my $15 a month.
Back when Star Wars made you think.
Yeah, here's my $15 a month. Let's go.
They can fly now. They can fly now.
The second one.
They can fly now.
Is a Blue Dragon 2.
It's funny because I'm in the MinMax Discord, and their question right now is top 10 Xbox franchises, and Blue Dragon was listed there. And Blue Dragon and the Lost Odyssey. And even Tales of Vesperia was a 360 exclusive. They really did push hard to try and make Xbox big in Japan.
Yeah,
it did not work, but they really tried. And I thought all three of those games, I remember Infinite Undiscovery. There were a lot of like JRPGs on there, but Blue Dragon is actually... wait, how much is it? Okay, if it wasn't Toriyama Designs, would you enjoy Blue Dragon?
Probably not. Lost Odyssey, though, I think actually, if they were to do a sequel or another type of Lost Odyssey style game, I would be on board. Like, it's just missing. It's missing outside of Halo and Gears, which are the two franchises.
I also like, what's the last big budget straight up RPG?
Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Final Fantasy. That's true.
That's so true.
I mean, Blinks the Time Sweeper is right there, and he could hang out with Super Lucky's Tale, or whatever. Let me see. Category Microsoft franchises. I have to pull it up because like Battletoads is like a thing. Did that game ever come out? Because it's in the trailer for Grounded, but they're like, hey, we got Battletoads.
It didn't.
Okay.
I think if Rare was to do like a Time Sweeper with meets Conquer, the Bad Fur Day, I'm in.
Two things. Okay, I remember both of them, so we're all set. Two whole things. One, Forza looks amazing. Every new Forza makes me want Forza. I need to soup up my PC so I can play Forza. But the cars always look like really good cars, so that's different. The only thing that makes it interesting to me is that it looks like, just like every game now, it wants to be a... Oh, man, I'm going to only think about Gex now. Oh, no. If it's going to be a live game, like it seems like it's going to be, because it's just called Forza Motorsport, I just hope they don't wreck it with not even the microtransactions, but did you play Forza Horizon 4?
Is that the
previous Forza?
Is that the previous... one? So in terms of racing sims, I don't like the Forza games. They're not for me.
I don't think they're racing sims. They're more arcadey racers. Because if I can reverse time and then course correct, that's not like a Gran Turismo.
Okay, so for me, the arcading racer like peak is the 2010 Grand Theft Auto Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. That's
a really good game.
That's the peak. That. Yeah, that's the peak.
At that same time, Forza Horizon 3 Forza Motorsport 3 was the first one I played. And I played that all the time. And then 4 is really, really good. 5 I didn't really play. 6 was PC. And I think 7 was the one where they've really started introducing this element of like, hey, you leveled up. Spin this roulette wheel. Okay, yeah, you can't. Burnout Paradise is also, if we're talking about like best racing game, Burnout Paradise is also up there for debate. I just don't know. I know that's why I'm so hopeful for Fable. Sorry for anyone who's not looking at the chat. The Forza Horizon team are the people who are making Fable, so I know they know how to make a world that just has like stuff around every corner and like the craziness. My favorite thing in Forza Horizon is there's a radio channel where it's just classical music, and the host of that channel does not care for the people driving in the town whatsoever, and is just so utterly over the racing festival. So that kind of dry humor, no, I know that the tone of Fable, I think, is going to be safe. I just really want to see gameplay, really just gameplay. Even if they said like, hey, this isn't the character, this isn't that, here's what the combat looks like, or here's anything.
If you saw alpha footage of Fable, would you be even more on board, I guess, is the question for me.
I don't know. I'm never excited to see alpha footage of anything, so I guess not. But it reminds me of the one year where EA's E3 press conference was just drawings of Star Wars Battlefront 2. Like, you know, sometimes you don't want to show something so early, but I feel like Xbox had to show
I think
something big, and something bigger than they maybe even have. They're buying a lot of studios. Like Psychonauts 2 is cool. I think that's their best sale. Is I was watching the trailer for Psychonauts 2 and I thought, I'll play this because it's on Game Pass.
That's a Game Pass game. That's a thing. That's a game I wouldn't go spend full retail price on. That's a game I would pay to play.
I wonder if they're going to bring back that, like, because it used to be that there was kind of a middle A experience. There was AAA, indie, and then in between where like Singularity existed, and games that like weren't amazing but had cool stuff about them. I'd say like, you know, they spent AAA money on, well, I don't want to get in a Mirror's Edge fight, but like
there hasn't been a good Fable since Fable. Yeah, that's fair.
I liked Fable 2.
What about 3?
And I didn't finish Fable 3. Well, I didn't finish it because my Xbox, my dog knocked it down, and it burned a giant laser through it, where it just burned the disc. And then I brought it back to the Kmart where they accepted a return, and I got, I think, Borderlands 2. So that burial just happened instantly. I'm sorry, but it was fun. But it reminded me, you could kind of see what Fable 3 was doing before the prestige, if you will. So it was fine.
Yeah, and I think the Xbox is it's kind of it reminds me of Blockbuster. If I can make me feel something, it makes me think of like Blockbuster and how I can like rent games almost, but not rent. I guess give them money for their subscription.
I never said the second thing. It's Viva Pinata.
Viva.
Make another Viva Pinata.
There you go. That would do it.
Because you got Rare.
That's true.
That's it. That's the end of it. Just make another Viva Pinata.
Just make another Viva Pinata. That's
the guy who made Slime Rancher, and then also the guy who made Stardew Valley, and make like a rock super group of game developers that just make Viva Pinata 3.
Is the dude who made Fez doing anything? Drag him out.
I don't think Phil Fish makes games anymore.
No, Phil Fish had a meltdown and I think went away.
Well, that's the guy who makes Fez, so
yeah. No, that's the joke.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think it's better when you explain the joke.
Oh, that's fair.
Also, a new Perfect Dark would be something interesting they could do. I'm not a Perfect Dark guy, but looking at everything they own, it's like, well, you know, Crackdown, you kind of, you know, it's not bad, but I think it's the example of a Game Pass game where you're just like,
A completely remastered GoldenEye would have got me on board.
Who even owns that now, though?
Probably
it was MGM. Because they can't. GoldenEye's not in Rare Replay. Because it was Nintendo. Like, I don't know how the rights work out for that, or even who.
GoldenEye is trash.
Sorry, I was reading chat, and I'm not debating that. I've never been a GoldenEye guy. Like, the first-person shooter I played probably was, that I got into was Halo. Like, I played stuff, but I'm trying to think.
James Bond died when From Russia with
Because
came
especially
out.
on N64, I remember even during when you had an N64, it was like, this controller is good for Ocarina, but like, what is this? So, I don't know, first-person shooter back then. Siphon Filter.
Here we can let's switch gears a little bit since we're talking about GoldenEye. That's was a Nintendo IP, so let's kind of switch to Nintendo for a brief moment.
Sure.
Pokemon Snap, are you on board?
New Pokemon Snap.
Yes, new Pokemon Snap.
No, I'm Pokemon. I think like a lot of things is like Star Wars for me, where I look at it and go, "Wow, I am aging," because that's not for me anymore. We had our time in the sun, and it was Pokemon Sapphire, the best Pokemon game. You can all shut up unless you're saying Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, in which case, still correct. Pokemon Snap does hold a place in my heart, but like I don't, it looks like if I was at someone's house, like if we were back to when we were 14, you go over someone's house and they had that, I'd totally play it. But I don't see myself spending that money for Pokemon Snap. It looks nice, and it is Pokemon Snap. It's,
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get it because I have a deep love for Pokemon Snap.
No, I get it. I played the only mainline Pokemon game I haven't finished is Sun and Moon.
I didn't play Sun and Moon either. That's the one I skipped. I liked Sword and Shield. I enjoyed it enough. The story was nothing special. The story isn't really anything special in most Pokemon games, except for me. I think Gen 3 and Gen 4 have particularly interesting stories at the very least.
I think on the Pokemon scale, I think you just have to clarify that there's a Pokemon scale of interesting stories and then an interesting stories scale of interesting stories.
In the world of Pokemon, yes.
Sure.
But no,
tell me more about Giovanni's motives.
Well, he has a kid. If you didn't know that,
I didn't know that. Is this in the anime?
Those little shorts they do, it's basically confirmed the kid that's your rival in Gen 2 is Giovanni's kid.
Is Black and White 2, chat, the one where your rival is looking for his sister's pawnyard? No, not pawnyard. Oh god, there's some like no. God, it's gonna bother me, but whatever.
Black and White 2, I didn't play Black and White 2, so I guess I'll take your word for it that it has one of the better stories. I've actually heard other people say that before, so
I just remember X and Y is the one that ends with the spoilers. Large homeless man from the beginning of time. Yeah, Pokemon, that's the thing is Pokemon stories, like Sword and Shield was never going to be something that I was going to be like, wow, you really got to check out the this gang of soccer hooligans that just won't let you have a good time.
Yeah,
it's fun though.
It's like it's a chill kid game that you can still enjoy as an adult. I guess there's a fun aspect of collecting and making a team to a degree, but because you've played them all, you know the secrets of how to do it, and you can just do it instantly like it's nothing. I guess though for the Switch, what are you excited for? Like, there's not a whole lot
sadly,
left for it.
I think that's why it's been an interesting discourse around all these Nintendo Directs where people are like, oh my god, here it's coming. Here's our giant E3 news dump of all their games. But I don't know that hopefully they've got some big surprises down the truck, because I should have Googled it before this. But in terms of upcoming Switch games, like there's Metroid Prime 4, but they've rebooted that internally, so who knows when that's coming out, and they haven't talked about it. Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, I'm not a Breath of the Wild guy. I get that people think it's the best Zelda or best video game ever made. I don't. So, like, I'll look at the trailers for 2, and I'll definitely be interested in coverage. And yes, separate from that, I'm going to be playing Pokemon Unite, because they made a Pokemon MOBA, and that's so stupid.
I'm going to play so much of that.
I will pay for the online to play the Pokemon MOBA. Let's get a 5-person death squad. Roll out.
Yo, I'm gonna play game. I'm gonna
up there. I think a ranking of Zeldas is a separate conversation.
Yeah, there's.
But all I need to say is Breath of the Wild. Not for me. If they made an Odyssey 2, Super Mario Odyssey 2, I'd be excited for that.
So,
but in terms of what they've announced, like, these are a lot of indie games.
Yeah, there's
kind of nothing.
It's weird. I'm used to like one major like first party release for them a year, and I feel like I'm lacking that this year. Like Paper Mario's fine, but I'm not a Paper Mario person. They don't do anything.
I would, if money was infinite and all that, I would play Paper Mario. It looks fun. I'm still a 1,000-Year Door guy, so I'm sad whenever it's not that, but I understand it's not that, and I've accepted it, and we can move on. But Bayonetta 3, that's theoretically somehow, someway, it'll come eventually. I'll play that.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
I played Bayonetta 2 because
could be cool.
I think it's still full price all the time, and
I mean, Nintendo
normally
games.
I go like, oh, look at all this, but it's like, no, I did buy Ghost and Last of Us, so I could easily buy Bayonetta 2. I just always
Yeah, the last thing I bought for my Switch was the Pokemon DLC, so I could do that.
I got the only two games that you need really. I don't know if it's gonna read on camera, but Dark Souls and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
That's all
That's
you
all
need.
you need.
Yeah,
That's the whole console right there.
That's if I was gonna get another game for my Switch, it'd probably be either Paper Mario because Emily would play that, or Diablo. But otherwise, my Switch is basically used for Pokemon and Emily playing Animal Crossing. And if I feel like playing Stardew Valley again, my farm is on there and I can go back to that.
Yeah. Animal Crossing was okay. It's weird. Is
Strikers?
I've got a Switch right there. No, there's no new Strikers coming.
Is it the is it the soccer one?
That's the soccer one. Yeah, I'd play that. Any Mario. I mean, I liked Mario Tennis. I just feel like right now there's nothing on the horizon for Switch that I'm like, oh, okay. I'm at least excited for that.
So,
it's just silence.
There's
okay. I did play through Three Houses. I think we're talking about future Fire Emblem stuff. Like, if they announced a new Fire Emblem, that would be on my list of things to be excited for. But you're right. I don't have my physical copy of Fire Emblem Three Houses. That game is also important.
Yeah, I think what I would like to see, because they're supposed to be doing a bunch of Mario stuff, I guess, throughout the year, is one of two things: either a Mario Sunshine remake, or a remake, or a port of the Galaxy games. One of the two.
Well, theoretically, I keep forgetting because I can't remember if it's a leak or it was confirmed or somewhere in the middle. But they were like putting Super Mario Sunshine Galaxy and 64 on Switch. That was like that thing about the year of Mario and all that, and then that they were doing 3D World, whichever the Wii U one was also going to come out.
Okay.
And that I thought that was like a confirmed leak or something, but then I've heard nothing about it.
If that was confirmed, I'd be happy, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'd play those games again, and that's exactly what you're asking for. Theoretically, is just up-resed. Hey, here's those games.
Because I've never played Sunshine.
Never, huh?
No, I made bad choices when I owned a GameCube. I bought bad games, so...
Hey, you had Resident Evil 4.
That's the only good game I had, though. Everything else I bought for that thing was garbage. That's not true.
You have Luigi's Mansion?
No, I had Luigi's Mansion, Resident Evil 4, and...
Good game,
and Moon Harvest. Those were, like, the three games I had.
Alright, no Smash Brothers. No
Nope.
Wind Waker.
Nope.
Alright, so yeah, I guess I can't defend any of these things.
Yeah.
I guess if I was going to make up something that would make me excited for the Switch, it would be like, hey, Wind Waker 2.
Switch Pro, they're going to release another version of their console. Interesting.
I haven't played anything on the Switch that has really made me go like, man, I wish this was more beefy and could run things better. That's just because Nintendo doesn't really make games.
I played Doom on my Switch.
That just seems like, for me, the Switch just feels like there are games you can buy on it that you should not buy on it, where it's like, yeah, you could buy Doom, but like, what do you, like, I think Wolfenstein 2 is on there, and it's like, how is that gonna run?
Garbage. So, like garbage.
Most likely.
But yeah, no, I think the Switch just needs to, one of their next Nintendo Directs needs to, I don't want to sound whiny or like any other average person on Twitter who bitches about what isn't or is announced during a Nintendo Direct. I just need something that is better or bigger for me. So some of their free-to-play games are ported very poorly. That I can believe. Better battery life, dude. I need better battery life.
That's true. It does. It's pretty terrible.
It's fucking awful.
Oh no, they're doing stuff right. I just think it's the weird. It's the weird thing of when. I was gonna say like Star Wars, but boy, did Rise of Skywalker. When you can tell that you're the person, like Pokemon. Like, I know no new Pokemon is going to come out and make me go like, wow, this is crazy. It's my favorite again. But that's just my perspective on it. So, like, the Switch for me is not the thing I play most on. It's my PC, and then it's my PS4, and then it's my Switch. I think they're doing really well for their end and what they're doing. It's just weird because as the mainstream console gamers are going like, how many triangles can be in this Unreal Engine demo? They're like, hey man, Animal Crossing, it's pretty chill.
And I think I agree.
It's just so opposite ends of the spectrum that I just don't think. It really is an indie machine.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. It's an indie machine. Like I have Stardew Valley on my PC, but I have over 100 hours of Stardew Valley on my Switch.
Yeah, no, I think it serves a demographic and it is the thing. But like in terms of if there was stuff coming down the pipeline, it's just not my. like if I first thought of what I would be playing a game on, it would either be like on my PC with an Xbox controller or on my PS4. And then Switch would be in my head like either an indie game that's perfect for it, like I've played Flint Hook and Hollow Knight on there, or like Mario Odyssey 2, Zelda 2,
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4 in 2028.
I have oh god, I can't remember the name. The Wii U port. It's by the Fire Emblem team and the Atlas team.
Oh, it's like FE.
Yeah,
it's like Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem FE.
Yeah. Anyway, I have that. That's probably going to be one of the
edition.
Yeah, that's
that is also another one that I've always wanted to get from the Wii U, because I never had a Wii U, so I always wanted to play. Was Bayonetta 2? No, Bayonetta 2 is on Switch. Was it on Wii U? I can't remember the timeline there. But the Mario 3D World I always wanted to play, and FE Fates. Well, no, Fates was a different Fire Emblem. But yeah, the Fire Emblem Cross Persona game, I always wanted to play that so badly.
So Persona 5 Scramblers, that seems that would be interesting. Mike asked if Back 4 Blood was an Xbox exclusive, would I go Xbox? I mean, yeah, I just got to pay for Game Pass, so I'd be okay. That's the Left 4 Dead team making a new type of Left 4 Dead game.
Sorry, I was only checking because it says, yeah, Asia and South Korea. Yeah, they confirmed they're bringing out Persona 5 Scramble in the West, but not any date. They just confirmed, it'll come out. When? It'll come out, because that's another one.
I actually almost installed Left 4 Dead yesterday because one of my friends asked me to play it. That's still a fun experience. I think a few hours of Left 4 Dead would probably hold up for me. Maybe no more than a few hours, though.
Yeah, I wonder, because that was such a snapshot in time, those first two games.
I think 2 probably holds.
I played a lot of it, but like, it's just weird.
Well, tell you what, Dalton, I will organize a community night with everybody, and we can play Left 4 Dead. We can mod the shit out of it. I think there's like a weird Helm's Deep mod to it that you can do that's kind of fun. We can do stuff like that.
Only if I can slide downstairs on a shield while firing headshots.
I am the entertainment. Okay, that's fair.
Toss me.
So here we go. This is a good transition point for us into talking about movies for a little bit. I haven't finished my rewatch of the extended Lord of the Rings movies yet with Emily. We're going to be doing that next week. We have the last half of Return of the King to go. However...
here, I've got a question. Well, you can take lead. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine. Yeah. So, you asked me, did the shield part feel as cheesy as you thought it felt? And the answer is yes. It feels very out of place in that movie, whereas... teenager me and early 20 me thinks that's the hypest shit ever.
Oh yeah, no, it's kind of like I unironically liked Spider-Man 3 for a while. Like don't listen to most teenagers on most things, but
Mike, the general synopsis is I still love the movies, but him sliding down
the CG, some of the CG is aged a little bit. The only thing the only cheesy things are it's really just the shield thing, just because it's the only.
It feels out of place in the movie.
Like, it's the only part that feels like there was a studio note going like, "Why isn't Legolas doing something cool?"
Yeah.
But everything else, I think those movies, especially the concept that and the Matrix trilogy, the concept that they gave someone so much money to make 3 movies right in a row about whatever.
We're talking about Helm's Deep. Particularly in Helm's Deep is where it looks not great. The elephants one I haven't seen yet because I'm not in that part of the movie, so the book is open for that.
It doesn't. I will say the Oliphant part doesn't. I think the lowest that any of the Lord of the Rings stuff goes is when Legolas in the Battle of Five Armies is Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 jumping on platforms.
Yeah,
for me, that's the lowest point.
Battle of Five Armies doesn't need to exist. So
that's a separate conversation. The real conversation is, without having seen the back half of Return of the King, if you had to rank the 3, what is your ranking? Because to me, there is a correct answer.
So I've seen them all, so I can easily do this. Two Towers is still number 1 for me.
Okay.
Then Fellowship, and then Return of the King.
Just watching the chat. Okay. So for me, Fellowship is number 1.
Okay.
And the characters being set up. And yes, we don't talk about... Oh, man, Mike, I don't agree. So the first one is definitely the best one for setting up the characters and sitting in the Shire and just absorbing all of it.
Yeah.
And then for me, 2 and 3 are almost tied. but I'd give the edge to 2 because I like Carl Urban.
For Nomad, that's fair.
That's perfect. Look, no, the endings of Return of the King are great, but they are plentiful. And, you know,
so
at a certain point when Denethor's singing and eating chicken, or no, sorry, I don't want to get yelled at. Peregrine Took is singing and Denethor is eating chicken and cherry tomatoes. It's a beautiful scene, but there's parts of 3 that I don't love as much as the other ones. So for me, it goes 1, 2, 3.
So for me, the reason I picked 2 is I like the epic battle, and I think having Helm's Deep really sets the tone for the overall where the movie plans to go.
And I guess I should also state that all of these movies are very, very good. So when like 1 is at the bottom, it doesn't mean that it's garbage.
Yeah, no, they're very good.
The ghosts were a tough part to figure out how to adapt into film, whereas 1 and 2 are, you know.
Yeah. So then, for a reason I have
almost flawless.
1 probably would be my favorite, if not for the fact that I just like 2 more in terms of I get that giant epic fantasy battle. And
that's fair. You're not wrong in that. I just love. For me, my favorite parts are Bilbo's birthday.
Bilbo's birthday is great.
Pippin, setting up all those people, and even getting to Rivendell, because I love how it starts off like, oh, I've seen fantasy stuff. It's going to be silly. And they're like, oh, tomatoes, nice, crispy bacon. And then Frodo's like, you idiot, I'm going to get stabbed through the heart and almost die. Like, things escalate at such a rate with the first one. And then, you know, Gandalf, everything there.
Yeah.
And then the second one, it's showing what actually happened with Gandalf and that it was cooler than you ever thought it could be.
No, exactly.
But for me, the music and everything being set up in the first one one's my number 1.
The moment when you're like walking into the Shire and you hear that like little tune for that brief moment and it just hits.
All of that music works perfectly, and all the characters are set up so that you know exactly who everyone is, so that by the time you get to 2, you can introduce Eomer and Eowyn and Grimo Wormtongue.
It works so well. So my lead-up question, because I was using Lord of the Rings as a segue in, what have you watched? What have you watched during quarantine, and what is your, I guess, favorite thing you've seen and least favorite thing? Because I'm sure you have to have a few of them.
Let's see. I know the first thing I watched after I got laid up was Upgrade. Did you see that one? It's by Lee. I don't know how to pronounce.
I don't
his
think
name.
I saw
Lee
that one.
Whannell. He directed The Invisible Man.
Okay.
So it's the guy who's not Tom Hardy but looks like Tom Hardy.
Chris Pine.
Do you know who I'm talking? No, he's got a real name. I'm just gonna Google it.
Jai Courtney.
It's like Logan Taylor Green or something like that. It's a name.
Is Color Out of Space the Nick Cage movie?
Yes, Color Out of Space is amazing. But really quick, Logan Marshall Green. It's essentially what if Venom was better, because it's RoboCop plus Venom, and that's pretty much what it is. Like, let's say the short version of it, guy's in a car accident and they go like, hey, do you want this AI subsystem that can help you move your body and stuff? And he's like, all right, yeah. And then there's kind of a relationship that forms between the voice that controls the UI and the guy who's running it. And it's like, it's just really fun. And I think that's worth watching. I had already seen it, but I wanted to just watch something ridiculous and fun again. Plus, to honor Invisible Man, the last movie that I, or a lot of people, saw in theaters. Period. Segueing into... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, the last movie I saw in theaters was 1917. And The Lighthouse is very good.
Also a good movie. Lighthouse is very good. And then I watched... so Color Out of Space I actually saw in theaters back in its limited release, but that one's worth watching, Kyle, if you haven't.
Oh, I've seen it. It's very good. It's a really good movie.
Good. Then yes, everyone in the chat, I don't want to ruin anything about it, so it's just a Nicolas Cage movie that's closer to Mandy than it is like one of his Netflix
it's
films.
I implore you to go watch Color Out of Space. It is a very fun ride in its own way.
And then watch the documentary... Oh, I should have had this pulled up already. There's a documentary about the island of Dr. Moreau, which is
Springs. I don't think I've seen that.
Previous film. It's a '96 film with
Val Kilmer. I've seen that. That's a good movie. Well, good movie's a stretch.
Marlon Brando. Yes, exactly. It's not necessarily a good movie, but it's interesting to watch. But the documentary about the guy who made Color Out of Space was trying to make this island of Dr. Moreau, where everything was going wrong, and at one point he's fired off the movie, but then in the movie you can see a background extra that was him dressed up as an extra to infiltrate his own set. Definitely watch the doc. That's
amazing.
There's a documentary. I just need the title of it to actually give it a proper plug.
The Florida Project. Why do I know what that is?
Island of Lost Souls, Lost Soul, the Doom Journey.
Oh, I've seen
that one from the top.
I want to see the Florida Project. That's the William Dafoe movie that I want to see.
Willem Dafoe, yeah.
Yeah.
I did also see Palm Springs. Did you watch? I forget. Did you watch that one? That's the Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti, the How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, nice. Good for her. I haven't seen that, so my movie viewing experience has been a little bit different in quarantine. I've been watching a lot of older things that I said I would watch, and have finally been getting around to it. So Emily hasn't seen a lot of movies, and for Christmas, Emily got me one of those like scratch-off posters of the 100 greatest movies of all time, and truth be told, I've seen over 96 of them. There's 4 movies on there I've never seen. So I've been rewatching stuff with her. We just watched Back to the Future last weekend, and Emily's takeaway is, why is Marty's mom so horny?
It was the 50s, man. Everyone was. Gotta repress that, Calvin Klein. Press it way down.
Yeah. But otherwise, we watched that. She saw Jaws for the first time. We got to see that in the drive-in. That was actually... So you and I have seen it in theaters, and I somehow think watching it in the drive-in was an even better experience than a regular movie theater for Jaws. Like, that felt like how it was supposed to be presented to me, and it just felt natural. So we watched that, Onward, and then I've kind of just been, like, rewatching some other stuff, like Last Samurai, which was a mood.
Yeah. I will say the only two... Like, I've done 2 major rewatches, and it's Extended Cut Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Which to me is Lord of the Rings. Why watch theatrical? Like, don't kid yourself. Watch the extended. So maybe that's why I think Fellowship is number 1, is because the extended stuff. Yeah, we're glossing over Last Samurai. And then I also watched every single Star Wars mainline film because I didn't want to watch Solo. Rogue One's fine, but I did not want to watch Solo, so I didn't. So I watched 1 through 9. I went in that order, 1 through 9, because get it out of the way first.
Meg, thank you for gifting the sub to Santa. I appreciate that. Santa, you're always a part of the crew, but welcome officially to the crew. Jaws is too long. Yeah, I'll agree Jaws runs a little bit too long. I can't argue with that.
I've only seen that movie once, and I always want to watch it more because of how much I love film, but also the one time I watched it, I think it's the problem of, you know, when there are people that make the best movie of all time lists and they all go like, oh yeah, Jaws is up there. It puts it on a pedestal that's hard to, the whole time you're kind of watching like, is Citizen Kane really that good? And it is very good, but it's never, for whatever reason, one that pops in my head. For me... as like best of all time.
Yeah, for Jaws, I view Jaws in the impact it has more so than being a best of all time movie. Because...
No, it is the summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge film in film history. I just mean if I was going to rank my personal 100 best movies... Jaws is one that when someone says Jaws, I go like, "Oh, I'm an idiot. I should have said Jaws." But
yeah,
it's not like the first one out of my mouth.
The first one that's usually out of my mouth is the obvious one. I say Jurassic Park. That's usually the one that rolls off of my tongue like instantly, which is just land Jaws when you think about it. But I think if I had to do like 100 greatest movies of all time,
need a bigger Jeep. Sorry, go ahead.
You got King Kong in there? Come on. Please don't get me on this tangent. It was bad enough when her and I were watching it at the drive-in. I started just basically quoting it verbatim with everybody, and she's like, "Please stop! You're ruining the movie experience." So
that'll happen.
But yeah, no, I just been rewatching a lot of things, and I told you earlier today I started Star Trek: The Next Generation today, so that'll come up in conversation. Yeah, 7 seasons. We'll see how I feel. What about Battle Royale? I don't know if Dan has ever seen Battle Royale.
No, that's always been on my list of movies that I know I need to watch because I know I need to watch them. But
it's a Korean Shaw. Wait. Jay, is that a real movie? Because I will watch that.
Well, to be fair, I mean, there's also like Kevin Smith is trying to make Moose Jaws, where it's literally just Jaws, but it's a moose in Canada. So like, there's a lot of other Jawses.
So the reason for the Star Trek thing is I'm a fan, and you're also a fan of Red Letter Media. That's kind of what made me want to go and watch this, because I watched their talk on Discovery and Picard. So I'm like, I might as well go back and see how I feel about all this. And
I think it just has like a almost what I didn't love The Mandalorian, but what people seemed to love about The Mandalorian of just like, here's an hour-long adventure with these people. And especially for Star Trek, the world You can do anything. So many of the ones that I remember seeing are like, let's go use the holodeck to solve the Jack the Ripper mystery and stuff like that, like weird stuff. So I always appreciated that about Star Trek. That's what I never got about the J.J. Abrams stuff, is they never seemed to try to capture the whimsy. They were more explosions. So I think TNG is probably the purest form of what you... Well, I mean, I guess purest would be original series. I do enjoy what I've seen of that.
Yeah, and
TNG, I think, is what everyone holds up as the sterling example of what Star Trek could be.
Taking time to rewatch Tremors. Tremors is good, and I think the thing of the J.J. Abrams movies is the first one is good. I like the second one more than most people, but the third one is, I think, the closest you get to capturing what Star Trek is, and that's because Simon Pegg, I think, wrote that movie, if I remember correctly.
He co-wrote it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job of catching a little bit of what the feel is supposed to be for a Star Trek. And it's weird when I think I can appreciate the Star Trek reboot movies more than the Force Awakens trilogy or Rise of the Skywalker trilogy, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's what was interesting watching, because I obviously have seen every Star Wars and I saw them when they came out, but I have not... I've been wanting to watch 7, 8, 9 right in a row. But by watching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beforehand, it really cements in that, like, I don't think those 3 movies are about anything. Like, the first one's just, you know, hey, who loves Star Wars? Do you love Star Wars? Get in here. We love Star Wars. And it's a fun movie, but I don't think they ever had any sort of roadmap, so it's so hard to even look at them as a trilogy of films. It's more 3 Christmases that I had to work that... Well, I didn't have to work Force Awakens, but 2 Christmases that kind of sucked.
Yeah, I had to work Force Awakens. I assume Force Awakens was probably as bad as whatever The Last Jedi business was for you, so...
Oh, no, Force Awakens did way more.
Oh, I hated it. Part of my soul...
Yeah, no, yeah, I wasn't comparing that.
Yeah, part of my soul died that day. I watched Labyrinth for the 100,000th time today and just said every line as it happened. Thankfully, Santa wasn't home. Labyrinth is a fun movie. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but I enjoy Jim Henson puppets.
David Bowie. I've seen... That should be my new thing, is only watching movies that David Bowie has been in, because I'm sure there's some that I don't know of, but...
There's a vampire movie that he's in that's really good. I can't... Kiss of a Vampire? No, that's the Nick Cage one. Hang on.
Vampire's Kiss? Yeah, that's a movie.
Everyone
go watch Vampire's Kiss.
Nick Cage eats a cockroach, full disclosure, in that movie.
He's a vampire. That's how... You don't understand art.
You know what? I didn't like Mother as much as you, so maybe I don't understand art.
I like art. Let's see, Bowie filmography.
I think it's called The Hunger.
Besides The Prestige and Labyrinth, those are the 2 that pop in, but...
You know what?
Yeah, no, that's a fair amount of movies. Boy, okay.
Yeah, Avatar did break the record for Netflix most popular, which is pretty impressive, which is why they got Korra. Because apparently they didn't even have the rights to Korra at that time. They were just like, oh shit, look at these numbers, guys. We gotta get Korra in here ASAP.
That makes sense. Avatar is one of the, like, if someone somehow overlooked it, Avatar The Last Airbender is probably, I'd say, the best animated series in the modern era, because I still want to give it to Batman the Animated Series. But so after that...
I would say, in terms of, like, modern era American cartoons, I would go... Avatar is number 1, Gravity Falls, and then maybe Over the Garden Wall.
Those are good. Those are good choices.
Batman animated and Avatar.
Yeah, it's for me, it's just Batman animated. It's like the...
I didn't see any Navi,
show.
so I shut it off. Fuck. Oh, that's fair. Speaking of Avatar, Dragon Prince 4 just got approved for the final 4 seasons. I am not watching Dragon Prince. The weird, like, I don't like CGI animation for shows. It's something about it bothers me.
The Code Lyoko effect?
Yeah, or Max Steel was the show back in the early 2000s that I remember as a kid.
That is the most early 2000s title for a show.
It's Max Steel, and he used to be an extreme sports athlete, and he was based off Jeremy McGraw, I think. What about... Oh, dude, that's the worst Berserk. Wait, Mike, hang on. I'm not trying to shit on you. Do you like that Berserk? The weird cell...
The three... I don't think the 3D animation can ever really look that good for how I look at stuff. It's always...
Because I like the...
I understand that it costs a lot to animate stuff. So for stuff like if you're gonna make 200 skeletons like Berserk or
yeah,
actually I don't think Castlevania does it. I understand Overlord does it.
It sucks because I like Berserk, but that animation is rough.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe if I can get past the animation, there's a story crumbled in there somewhere.
That's the problem. Is like it's still well made. It just sucks because literally I see that animation and my eyes retract into my eye sockets and they go on the other side.
Because we tried watching it at when your dad was living in Solon. I'm gonna out my area of where I live. I live in Ohio.
It's not bad. It's not like it's a bad version of that art style. It's just it's the art style.
It's just the art style. I can overlook most. Like I like the Godzilla and animated movies on Netflix more than I should, and that is a similar art style. So if I can watch that, I can maybe watch Berserk. And speaking of which, worst movie I've watched during quarantine is the Godzilla King of All Monsters movie.
I mean, yeah, that's another one that I can't say is a good movie, but like that's a fun movie to watch. You know, like I can't think of any of the actors' names. It's the guy from Cabin in the Woods and West Wing and Get Out.
Oh, I can't think of his name either. I know who you're talking about. Or also the
character actor. He's stupid. And like, yeah, if you just cut out everything with 11 from Stranger Things and her parents.
Oh no, I must have. I upset the people.
If you just cut all the main stuff out of there and just had the monster fight stuff, I really enjoyed everything that I saw. Like some of the stuff.
So here, I'll break it down real quick. The monster fights are dope. They look cool. However, 11 is bulletproof throughout the entire plot. Nothing can happen to this child. The mother's churn was so weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I think it feels weird to me that like that following up 2014 Godzilla, they were like, we need more people. So I don't know. Everything with the monsters, I thought the visual design and stuff was really cool, but like, exactly. What the Godzilla movies, older ones, could be
aside from Final Wars is dope. Godzilla.
I think you can do the people being affected by it because I think what they did with the world and even like little sentences of like, oh, we're going through like these ancient ruins that are near the center of the earth. There's interesting stuff you could do with a Godzilla movie. But in this specific movie, they don't do anything with any of the people. Like Thomas Middleditch is in the movie, I think, and he just kind of stands there for most of it. It reminds me of when Olivia Munn was in The Predator, and they're like, well, why are you here? And she's like, I'm not sure either. Here we go. So, and then nothing really happens.
I guess
especially for a movie that's 2.5 hours long.
I guess my issue is I want more of the 2016 Shin Godzilla than I do the 2019 Godzilla King of All Monsters.
I mean, I enjoyed the 2014 one from Gareth Edwards.
It's fine.
I thought the way that they played with scale and all the fights were cool. I thought the fights in the sequel were better. I just thought that, like, everything with the dad from Friday Night Lights.
The dude from Super 8? That's what I know him from, is Super 8.
I didn't. Oh, he is the dad in Super 8, yeah.
Yep.
Just everything with that storyline, just who cares? I'm totally fine with, like, Battlestar style. Let's get the whole government on this ship. We have to figure out how we're going to do this.
Yeah, that like parts of it were fine. Yeah, parts of it were fine, and then parts of it weren't. And it's just like the scale of destruction in it was a lot.
Yeah, it's a little Batman v Superman.
Yeah, just a bit. Much. But they're also giant kaiju monsters, so like I know there's going to be like large level of scale.
No, I don't care about that. I just
that's fair.
All
Jay.
I want is Kong. Kong v Godzilla, Godzilla versus Kong, whatever they're calling it. I want that movie. That's all I really care about, is just how dumb that movie will be. Because I enjoyed Kong Skull Island, I enjoyed both of these movies, and I'm sad because it was supposed to have been out in March, but it got delayed before COVID, and now who knows? And I just want to watch. I hope King Kong suplexes Godzilla. Like, that's what I want. Is like that level of just ridiculous fights.
I can't remember. Does Kong even get shown in?
There's a post. Shoot, I think they talk about Skull Island. I think they show a Skullcrawler.
Okay.
I think they tease Kong because I think in the credits there's like paperwork and it goes like, oh, why are monsters congregating near Skull Island so that they can like
kaiju fight basically.
Yeah, and it's gonna be how Mothra, I know Mothra. Let's team up against Mechagodzilla, but. Dude, I still want to watch that movie.
If Kong has lightning powers, that'd be pretty dope. I'd be about that. Yeah, that's probably
the end of Mortal Kombat 11, but King Kong and Godzilla.
the sleeper hit for me is Crawl. I watched Crawl.
Mm-hmm. We never got to open that one at the theater that I ran, and I was always disappointed because like it's just such a grindhouse-ish. Like, hey, look, it kind of like how I was like Ghost of Tsushima, samurai game. It's like, what's the crocodile movie about? Crocodile.
Emily, Crawl was awesome. I liked Crawl. Yeah, Emily owed me a free lunch because of a bet we made while watching that movie. Because we took a bet on what would happen to a specific thing in the movie, and I won. So, but yeah,
that one definitely got swept under the radar. I think it came out around the same time as like the reboot of Hellboy. There was just a lot of stuff that was not good in theaters. So
fuck, I forgot about the reboot of Hellboy. Oh man,
yep, most people did. That's the thing I'll miss most from the theater is having a bunch of knowledge on movies that no one has seen. But let's talk about The Circle, starring Tom Hanks and Emma Watson.
I did watch the Mr. Rogers biopic with Tom Hanks. Won't you be my neighbor? Yeah,
the documentary?
Or no, not okay. The Tom Hanks. But I've seen both.
Okay.
Both made me.
The documentary is really amazing.
Yeah, the documentary definitely made me cry. The movie definitely pulled at those strings very heavily.
It's Tom Hanks, so
yeah, Tom
nothing really wrong with that.
Tom Hanks is great in most things. Yeah, the document. You're not a human if you don't cry watching the Mr. Rogers documentary. Have I ever watched Grave Encounters? I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, no, I think Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood just came out at the same time as other stuff that I was like at the theater. Or
yeah, and you were still
when
like
you're in that ecosystem. Like a movie that looks like something you might like is just something that you'd never wind up seeing. So It seemed very good, and I did walkthroughs and saw parts, but like I just never actually sat down to watch it.
Poor dude sitting in a room crying over The Wrestler. I mean, if I were to make a list of movies that have made me cry, The Wrestler is on that list. I can do this right now. The Wrestler, Toy Story 3, My Dog Skip, and the Tom Up. No, I cried during Up. I did cry during Up, and the Mr. Rogers documentary. Like those 5 things I know for a fact have made me cry while watching them.
For me, I think it's just Toy Story 3, Up, the Ram Jam, obviously, The Wrestler, and like Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
What part in 2 got you?
When Peter's dad asks him like, "Hey, why do you want to be mortal?" and he just thinks back to all those moments with his friends, and he's flying with Rocket up in the sky, and the chains playing.
Yeah, no, that's a really,
and everything just comes together. Also, like he's Mary Poppins, y'all, and he may not have been your father, but he's damn proud to be your daddy. And if you don't cry at that, then you're that sequence of Yondu is it's very good. That's different. But no, I don't. Especially recently, there hasn't been like a movie that I was sitting in the theater sobbing watching Isle of Dogs or something.
It takes a lot for me to. Oh, actually, there is a moment. I didn't cry, but I called my mom just to tell her I was doing okay still. It's when I came up at I was still working.
When you saw Manchester by the Sea?
Yeah. So some context for this. I was still working at the movie theater at the time, and I came up to watch some movies. I watched a double feature that night. I did Sing, the animated movie of animals that are trying to save their theater, and they do it with song and dance. Great time. Loved it. Had a blast. Felt really good about myself. Walked out. And then I went straight into Manchester by the Sea. And there was a point in Manchester...
Probably should have done the opposite, honestly.
Oh, yeah. There was a point in Manchester by the Sea where things get revealed and your heart will sink to the bottom of your stomach and you will feel like your life is also worthless, like this character. And after the movie was over, I called my mom at 1 a.m, like, "Hey, I'm sorry to wake you up, but I just wanted to talk to you because this movie made me sad."
That was one of the movies. I always enjoyed customer reviews for movies like that because I just remember a guy leaving with his wife saying, "Why did we pay all that money just to get bummed out? Like, why did we come here and spend all this money just to be this depressed? I don't understand."
I've never cried, never will. That's fair. If you don't cry during a movie, there's nothing wrong with that. I guess there's just some movies that like elicit that emotional connection with me sometimes.
I don't know, that Mr. Rogers one though. That's if you watch that and not cry, you at least would feel the part that would make you theoretically cry. You just might not have the tears.
Yeah, like you don't have to cry, but as long as you still feel the emotion from it,
Yeah,
like that documentary, that hit. Because I stayed home from work that day, and you came in, and you're like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm watching. It's sad. Just let me watch my sad documentary." And then we watched the Predator movie with each other, and then realized, some things are just trash.
That's an interesting movie.
I'd
put it almost in the it's not as good as Godzilla King of the Monsters, but it's like a watchable dumb movie.
Yeah, but the whole
anyway.
The whole theory that the ending of the movie is based on is so terrible.
Yeah, but
I cried watching Marley and Me. Marley and Me is designed to make you cry, though.
Yeah, also I'm happy I didn't have to work that dog movie, but man, was I tired of working movies with dogs on the poster where all the families come through, and I wonder what's going to happen in the movie. Oh my god! The dog died.
Wait! Radio made you cry, Santa?
Because some people had human emotions when they saw Radio. They weren't 12 and monsters.
That's fair. I just don't like that movie, but that's
because they showed it to us in high school like every other week because they didn't want to teach us, so they showed us that and October Sky and Remember the Titans, and that's it. Those are the 3 movies that we watched. And Grease for some reason.
Finding Nemo is like that one movie I'd never need to see in my life ever again because of school. It was weird. I remember we got away from watching Aliens in homeroom.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sounds right, but yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting rest of the year for movies for you and me, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't think anything is. It's gonna be a lot of conversations about older stuff because honestly, outside of like Bill and Ted comes out in September.
Okay.
And everything else just keeps delaying itself inevitably, and not. I do remember that, Mike. That was. Yeah, she didn't enjoy that much. But there's nothing, like, if the movie release schedule was normal and there were movies like Dune that I was looking forward to, then cool. But now it's just going to be smaller studios. Maybe, like, I could see an A24 or someone just putting... I think First Cow is actually on streaming. I think that's A24. There's a whole bunch of stuff that will be coming out that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think that anyone's going to be sitting in a movie theater until next summer, and that's, I mean, unless you live outside of America, and then you guys
have fun.
Yeah, but yeah, in terms of us, I don't think maybe next summer.
Yeah, it's wild. I think the one thing for me is I'm gonna rewatch a lot of things, and definitely with Emily to see movies she's never seen. Mm-hmm. I think after we do finish Return of the King, I've never seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, so we're gonna watch Eternal Sunshine.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch that and then Requiem for a Dream right after.
I don't ever need to watch Requiem for a Dream ever again, man. That sits in my soul all the time.
Keith David, though.
Keith David's great.
That reminds me, have you seen there's a fridge that is like on wheels that you can like program with an app to come into your room anytime you want to recreate that one scene from Requiem for a Dream?
I did not. I'll have to look that up. The other thing I want to rewatch, hopefully in the next couple of weeks with her, is Seven.
Ugh, another fun one. Only fun ones, it seems.
I love those kind of movies. So that's where my headset's at. And then Train to Busan. Train to Busan. Is that what it's called? I want to watch that. That's on my list. I need to watch that.
Yeah, I've got a stack of Blu-rays that I theoretically need to work through to just catch up with everything I own, but I get distracted. So who knows what all I've seen.
Let's all watch the Riddick movies.
Ranking of Riddick. Riddick of
the 2010 one's the best one. I don't care what any of you say. The one of Dave Bautista.
Sackhoff is in the movie.
And Dave Bautista's in the movie.
Oh, there you go. That sounds pretty good. He's in Blade Runner.
1, 2, 3. 2 is Chronicles of Riddick, right? And
Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, then just Riddick, I think.
I would go Riddick, Pitch Black, and then Chronicles for me personally.
I was just trying to list all the movies. There's 3 of them.
I think there's 3. There shouldn't be any more. But yeah, I would do it like that.
Was a 4th.
I like Riddick way more than I should. Riddick then Chronicle?
I guess the question is Escape from Butcher Bay better than one of the movies?
Train to Busan was pretty good. Escape to Butcher Bay. Is that the game?
Yeah. Is the game better than one of the movies? Because I've heard really good things about that game.
I heard that
it was an Xbox exclusive, so I never played it.
Yeah, I heard that game was really good from like a lot of people. Train to Busan was good. I'll have to check that out. So to slowly kind of wrap it up, because we're coming up at the 2 hour mark. We're actually past 2 hours. Going forward,
We did it.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. We haven't done this in a long time. Going forward, what do you want? What do you want out of doing the podcast again? I guess. What is your expectations or goals for it?
I don't know. The things I find most interesting are either talking about and like breaking down like a new pop culture thing that's come out, or talking about the reaction to it. Just like, you can talk about Star Wars all you want, but then if you talk about like the current state of the Star Wars fandom, that's a whole separate conversation. So I don't know. I think like picking some piece of media and trying to actually like look at it from all angles, while also still just talking about whatever and having fun. So I don't know. And then probably like top 10 lists or something. People like lists.
People.
Maybe recurring bits that you can like cut out and put on YouTube separately from.
Yeah. People.
Just stuff you can edit, I think, is what I really, really want from the channel going forward.
Yeah, I think in terms of editing goes, it's going to be me loading this into like Adobe Premiere, cutting off the like 40 seconds of shit that doesn't need to be here, loading it onto YouTube and being done with it. And or cutting out the parts that I want specifically, like you said, for certain things. For me, I definitely want to do lists. Like you said, people love lists. Definitely, we pick a movie, we watch it, we break it down and how it affects the pop culture aspect of things and all angles, as you put it. So I think
I think it'll be tougher with less and less new releases. Like we'll probably have a Bill and Ted episode because like what else is coming out?
Yeah,
at all. So, like,
exactly.
The next video game, honestly, that we'll both be playing is probably Avengers, but
Yeah,
Cyberpunk. I'm sure we'll talk about stuff like that.
Because when we first did this, I think we tried to cover too much of everything and not enough of like specific things.
Yeah,
and this was good. We did it. We did a 2 hour reboot of the podcast. There's lots of streaming exclusives coming out now too.
that's true.
That's true.
Like, I can talk about Palm Springs for a while.
I can watch Palm Springs and then we can talk about it. But I think you and I can discuss what we want to plan out and then kind of go from there going forward. And definitely as this builds, because we've actually had a very good turnout tonight. Like Mike, thank you for coming. Jay, thank you for coming. Meg, Santa, Quantum, Dalton, Brian. Yeah, thank you guys for all being here, being interactive with the chat. That makes it a little bit easier for us to if we're losing conversation, to see pieces to talk about. So it makes it a lot easier for us. But I think we'll definitely be doing this again, and maybe I don't know if it'll be once a week, but maybe once every other week, if that works out. However it works out for the two of us, we'll talk it out and figure it out. And
I am unemployed.
Yeah, and
so I'll be here.
And Mondays is like my least Mondays is probably my favorite day to stream, but I don't necessarily like playing games on Mondays. I kind of like just chatting. So this, I think, is the best time slot for it. And then going forward, if anyone ever misses these, they will be on my YouTube channel. And then another fun announcement, I'm going to be doing a Let's Play of Halo on YouTube for my YouTube channel. So you guys can check that out there. I hope to have Mike on there with me because Mike has a much better knowledge of the game than I do. And then maybe Dan and I can do a Let's Play of Hitman 2.
That'd be funny.
Because I've never played those, so we'll have that as well. But I think there's going to be good content ahead for us. Want to plug your Twitter really quick before we end this?
Not really, no. Like, I don't use my Twitter, so like I could, like, it's Marvelite616. You could follow me, but like I don't tweet like at all, so there's no content there for you. I wouldn't do it personally. You probably follow enough people on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend went viral this past weekend of her tweet, so that's.
I saw that out of context from even knowing it was her. So no, I know you should use social media, but like anytime I have a thought, or even when I read most tweets, I just go like, why do you care that much about this? Unless it's something very important, and then I feel like if I'm going to tweet about garbage, I should be tweeting about important things, and then it all just falls apart. So, Twitter's bad.
I tweeted Bad Boys 2 is going to sweep the Oscar. Bad Boys 2, Bad Boys for Life is going to sweep the Oscars, and that got me like a shit ton of likes and some follows. So, but
I mean, it's the correct thing to be doing. But
yeah, if you guys want to follow Dan on Twitter, go ahead and follow him. If not, it's not the end of the world. Or if you guys saw the Shakira Akira t-shirt on Twitter, out of context, that was Emily who shared that. That is her tweet that blew up. I never thought I would see that happen in person. That was insane. But yeah, we will be back. Follow me on my socials because it's important if you want to know what's going on, or if you want to be a part of the community, join the Discord and interact with us there. That's kind of where I'm at and where you can find me. Shut up, Dalton. I don't think if there's anyone on that I can raid really quick, but let me take a look before we just cut the stream out and see what we can do here. And if you have any closing remarks you'd like to add while I search for a person, so it's not really terribly awkward silence.
I guess I don't know if you have an email set up. We should set up an email or something so we can get like comments or questions or whatever outside of the chat, just to talk about. Like I wrote down game versus movie adaptations. Jay had said that's an interesting topic. Like any topic ideas, anything like that. I think the community would be the most interest. Like the people that would know what would be interesting to talk about based off their interests. So
yeah, man, there's like nobody genuinely on. If chat has anyone that would like to recommend really quick, we'll set up a section in the Discord for that, because that's definitely a great idea. And I'll make an email too, like Dan said. That way, if people don't want to join the Discord, they can still get a hold of us, because I know some people don't like joining Discord. Who knew? Whack. Oh, dope. My
people
friend
have opinions on everything.
Yeah, you know what? My friend Cassie is playing Dead by Daylight. I'm gonna send you guys over to her. She is a really nice person. Give me a second here to type out her name, because I'm special. Probably a B. Okay. But yeah, we're about done here. Thank you guys again for coming out. It was awesome. We'll be back again soon. Definitely follow my Twitter and join the Discord. There will be some stuff in there for you guys. And my YouTube will be up at some point. Probably by Friday, I'll try to have this up on there. I just got to edit out a couple parts, and we should be good. And
awesome.
This was fun. I hope to see you all again soon. Dan, thank you as always. And
no problem.
We're almost ready to go see Cassie. Show her some love, spam some emotes, or give her a follow. She's really nice. Her and I send memes to each other all the time. But we're going to go over there. Thank you guys again. Have a great rest of the night, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.